Hello people, welcome to my YouTube channel Free Management Education. Today we will discuss about portfolio theory and it's the second part of the series. The topics that will be covered here today are capital asset pricing model CAPM, characteristic line, capital market line CML and security market line SML. Moving on. So what is capital asset pricing model? This is one such model which establishes a formal relationship between risks and returns. So it establishes a formal relationship between risks and returns. It seeks a relationship between risks and returns that must exist in the capital markets at an aggregate level. Okay. Based on the parameters are risks and returns. CAPM helps investors identify assets to invest in. Okay. It also clarifies to the investor that which risks get rewarded and which does not, and also what returns to expect and what not. Okay. So in short, it is a formal relationship between risks and returns. Okay. And this must exist at an aggregate level in the capital markets. Okay. It helps investors to identify assets to invest in, and also which risks gets rewarded and which does not, and also what returns to expect. In CAPM we bifurcate or divide, okay, bifurcate the risk into two elements. The risk is bifurcated into two elements, the systematic risk and the unsystematic risk. Here systematic risk is unavoidable and also not reducible. CAPM only addresses systematic risk. This is propounded or founded by Sharpa, Later and Mosin. Okay. I will make a detailed video on risks in financial management later. Now the assumptions of CAPM. Okay. So the first assumption is the efficiency in capital market. Okay. So here all informations are available. Rational investors, individual investors are not able to affect the price of securities. That is, there are huge amount of investors holding only a small amount of wealth. Risk averse investors, that is, investors do not like to take risk. Investors are mean variance optimizers. What it means, that is, they evaluate a security's return and risk in terms of expected return and variance or standard deviation respectively. Please see the first video of this series, that is the portfolio theory and introduction, where I have explained in details the expected return, the variance or standard deviation for securities risk and returns. Okay. The highest expected return for a given level of risk are prioritized above all, obviously. Homogeneous or same expectation about expected returns risk of securities. All investors' decisions are based on a single time period and identical time period. Okay. There are no multiple time periods. There exists risk-free rate, that all investors can lend and borrow at risk-free rate of interest. There is no tax. Okay. No tax. Moving on. Now comes the equation of CAPM. The equation of CAPM is RS equal to reward for waiting and plus reward for risk. So what is RS? It is the expected return on security S. Okay. What is reward for waiting? It represents an investment return. Okay, that is independent of risk. That is, the investor has waited long enough after his investment to be handsomely rewarded. Okay, he has waited, he has invested, and he waited, and he gave up his current consumption. He gave up his current returns for future returns. Okay, so here it is written that the investor needs to be rewarded for saving and deferring the current consumption for a later date. Okay, he waited for to be handsomely rewarded on a later date, not now. So it is time dependent. Obviously, he or she is waiting, and it's governed by current interest rates prevailing in the market. He or she will get returns based on the current interest rates that is prevailing in the market. The next part is reward for risk. The greater the risk assumed, the higher is the expectation of reward. We all know this. So this is the main equation, R suffix f plus beta into R suffix m minus R suffix f. So what is R suffix m? It is the return on market portfolio, the various portfolios that the investor has. RF is the risk-free rate. Okay. Beta is the systematic, undiversifiable, and or unavoidable risk. Sorry. Okay. It's systematic and unavoidable. I will make a detailed video on risk analysis. Okay. For now, just understand that systematic risk means unavoidable risk. Okay. I have given a definition on what is beta. Just go through it. It's a characteristic line that represents a linear relationship between the security returns and the market returns. The slope of the characteristic line is the sensitivity coefficient referred to as beta. Or in other words, it is the risk. It is the systematic risk that cannot be reduced, that cannot be avoided. Okay. So government securities are assumed to have zero risk. Obviously, like T-bills, treasury bills, they have zero risk. That is beta equal to 0, and a risk premium Rm minus Rf of 0 and a return of Rf. Obviously, if you see this equation, okay, if beta becomes 0, then this whole term becomes 0. This whole term becomes 0, then only Rs equal to Rf remains. The market portfolio is assumed to have beta equal to 1 because they have risk. And risk premium Rm minus Rf is taken as reward for taking the market risk. So that is reward for risk. I have already said that the equation of CAPM is Rs equal to reward for waiting plus reward for risk. Okay. So Rm minus Rf is taken as reward for taking the market risk. The market portfolio is the reference for measuring the volatility of individual risky securities. What is volatility? The frequent or rapid change. Okay, the market portfolio is the reference for measuring the volatility of individual risky securities. Continued. So beta equal to 1, that is the securities beta of 1 indicates the systematic risk equal to aggregate market risk, and the required rate of return on the security will be equal to the market rate of return. Okay. So beta equal to 1 indicates systematic risk equal to market risk, and required rate of return is equal to market rate of return. Beta greater than 1 represents systematic risk is greater than aggregate market risk. Okay. So, then the securities return will fluctuate more than the market returns. This means that the securities return will fluctuate more than the market returns. Okay. And the securities required rate of return will be more than the market rate of return. Okay. So the securities required rate of return will be more than the market rate of return. Now beta less than 1 indicates that the securities risk is lower than the aggregate market risk. Okay. This implies that the securities return are less sensitive to the changes in the market returns. Here securities required rate of return will be less than the market rate of return. Okay, so beta equal to 1 means systematic risk equals aggregate market risk, and required rate of return is equal to the market rate of return. Beta greater than 1 indicates systematic risk is greater than the aggregate market risk, and the required rate of return will be more than the market rate of return. Here securities return will fluctuate more, and beta less than 1 indicates securities risk is lower than the aggregate market risk, and securities return are less sensitive to changes in market returns, and securities required rate of return will be less than the market rate of return. So theoretically beta can be negative, which means security would earn less than risk free rate of return. Okay, let's go through this. Theoretically beta can be negative. Next, the limitations of CAPM. There are few assumptions which are unrealistic, like risk-free security, which is very rare. Obviously, the assumption of equality of lending and borrowing rate is also not correct. Okay. Also, investors may hold highly diversified portfolios. Okay. There are various types of securities can be in an investor's portfolio. difficult to test the validity of the CAPM. There is a need to establish okay, there is a need that this is the ones we have read are assumptions mainly. So there is no concrete proof. So there is a need to establish that beta is able to measure the risk of a security, and there is significant correlation between the beta and the expected return. Also, betas do not remain stable over time. Obviously, systematic risk, that is the unavoidable risk, changes over time. Now comes the capital market line, or CML. So what is CML? Mainly, it's a graphical presentation of the equilibrium or the relationship between the expected return. Okay, you can see the expected return and the total risk. Okay, so the capital market line relates returns of the security to the total risk. Okay, there are both systematic and unsystematic risk. We read in CAPM that it considers only systematic risk, but CML considers both systematic and unsystematic risk. Okay, CML is a line that is used to show the rates of return which depends on risk-free assets and levels of risk for a specified portfolio. Okay, also it's an efficient set of risk-free and risky securities. Okay, it shows the risk-return trade-off. Here is the risk-free part and this is the risk premium part. So both risks are there, that is risk premium and risk-free rate. The slope of CML describes the best price of a given level of risk in equilibrium. Okay, this is the slope. Okay. CML shows the trade-off between the expected return to total risk. I have repeated this line many times just to make you understand that this is the relationship between the expected return and total risk, or not systematic risk or unsystematic risk, but total risk. That is, there is risk premium or risk free, both are there. The slope of CML formula is this: Rm minus Rm by Rf by sigma m. Sigma is the standard deviation here. Okay. Now comes the SML, or the security market line. It is also like CML, but the difference is CML considered only CML considered both systematic and unsystematic risk, that is total risk, but SML considers only systematic risk. Okay, it is also a relationship between the expected rate of return and the beta. Beta here is the systematic risk. In security market line, the risk is measured through beta. Okay, it is also called characteristic line, which you have read earlier. Here x-axis represents beta, or the risk of the assets, and y-axis represents the expected return. SML is the graphical representation of CAPM. So this is the relationship between SML and CAPM. The slope of SML is Rm minus Rf. That is, it shows the differences between the required rate of return on the market index and the risk-free rate. Okay, Rm is the required rate of return on market index, and Rf is the risk-free rate. Okay, the underpriced assets shall lie above the SML. So here lies the underpriced assets, and overpriced assets lie below the SML. Okay, so this is the overpriced assets. Note, if your securities return is perfectly positively correlated, okay, with the return on the market portfolio, then CML totally coincides with the SML. Okay, so perfectly positively correlated, we know the positive correlation graph always looks like this, and negative correlation graph looks like this. The slope looks like this. So here is the slope is the positively correlated, perfectly positively correlated, and also the graph of CML, the slope of CML is also positively correlated like this. So if a securities return is perfectly positively correlated with the returns, okay, then CML totally coincides with SML. You can see the graph of CML before. Okay, so this goes SML, sorry. So thanks for watching. This is a new channel, Free Management Education, where we provide educational videos on courses or topics of MBA, BBA, BCom, MCom, and also for UGC NET, mainly for UGC NET Management and Commerce. Okay, so like and subscribe if you wish to, and do leave a comment if possible, because We highly appreciate constructive criticisms, and if you want some specific videos on some specific topics, feel free to comment or contact us. Okay, thank you.